All right. Hello. Welcome.
Okay, I have just been handed a note.
Who was
As
the?
of, well, I don't know, a little late, a lot late. As of 3/4/24, Verizon is not carrying Monumental unless you're okay. So if you've got cable through Verizon, you have to have a FiOS TV Most plan
Mm-hmm.
to have the to be able to see anything from Monumental.
Right.
If you don't have that plan and you're subscribed to Verizon, you're not going to have that channel.
But they still allow you to view it on their app,
You can see it through the app, yeah.
but you
Um,
can't watch it on their.
Monumental yeah. The pay plan they have is for all the bells and the whistles,
That's
like
great.
stopping it, pausing it live and replays and different camera angles and stuff like that. But you can watch the game for free on the app.
Well, I want to welcome in all of our Twitch listeners. Yeah, we're talking about how we're all watching this Capitals game from different locations, in different parts of states and different countries, in fact. And it's just funny to see how we're all watching it differently, but yet we're all about 10 to 15 seconds away from each other. So for the my friends that are on Twitch, we haven't gone live yet on Facebook. We will in a second. We got my friend Janaea Talks Caps, who does her own podcast. And so we're excited to have her on live giving an intermission report, if you will. My dad's in chat. Carly's in chat. Carly just resubscribed for 35 months, which is crazy. So she was subscribed a second that we could on my channel, and I really appreciate that she has stayed subscribed this entire time. So for Janae, I don't know if you know Twitch, but if you subscribe on Twitch, you get $5. You have access to cool emotes and stuff like that. So it's like a paid supporter kind of thing, which is a really cool thing.
Oh,
I
that's
really
awesome.
appreciate. Carly's also one of my mods. We also got Champ in chat. Champ will be in a later segment with us in the second hour. Part of our team is also a mod. So I appreciate both of them and my dad for being in chat. We actually have 10 viewers already, so I appreciate all those people for tuning in early for this. I will be sharing it to Facebook in just a second, but we are down to nothing, so that is unfortunate. But hopefully, maybe in some reverse thing. Usually, our podcast we're winning when we start and then we lose by the end. So maybe
All
by
right.
some comedic miracle we'll flip the script tonight. But yeah, I'm so excited. One other thing we are celebrating tonight is Anna's birthday weekend.
Yes.
I'm excited
Thank you.
to be celebrating that with you tonight. We celebrated Gil's birthday a couple of weeks ago, so that was great. And so it's also my wife's birthday this upcoming week. So that's kind of exciting. In addition, in my personal household. So that'll be on Wednesday. So yeah, it's just a fun time. We're celebrating, it's Women's Month this month, and so it's cool to have two great hockey correspondents that know so much about the Caps and that I follow both of your podcasts. And so it's great to have this combination here today. We also have Katie, voice unmuted for our Twitch listeners. She's coming on a little bit later. We're doing a Twitch post show where we're talking about a really cool raid train that we were a part of, where we raised money for kids this weekend, and we raised $10,000, which I was really
Wow.
we had
Nice.
constant music starting on Thursday all the way until 1 o'clock in the morning this morning, which is exactly when we broke the record. I was like half asleep on this couch when somebody gave an anonymous donation for the last $500 to get us over the threshold. Just super excited to be a part of that. The donations are still going on, so I will be sharing those links throughout the show tonight as well. And then we have Katie, who was a part of this. We'll talk to her about being a part of that experience. Josh last week, who we had on, is another singer-songwriter. He actually is the promoter and the starter of this whole thing. And so it was fun to have him on. We actually made the emote live on the end of the stream last time, and they used it for the event this week. So it's kind of cool to see art that was made on stream on Monday then get used on Thursday. And people seem very excited about that. So
Very
it's
cool.
cool. I hope that people enjoy that. Let me start our podcast on Facebook. I'm sure people are wondering where the heck we are.
Now, I want to be sure. Is it Janaea? Janaea.
Janaea, yeah.
All
Janaea.
right. It's
Long
fantastic
A.
to meet you.
Got it.
You as
Yeah,
well.
awesome. Yeah, awesome to meet you. Been something of an admirer for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
caught
myself
your.
as well. I actually listen to your guys' show all the time.
Oh,
I
sweet.
haven't
that's funny.
I don't believe I've like been involved in the comment section much, but I'm a lurker, if you will. I'm always there silently watching.
We'll
So
take it. We'll take it.
Totally. Yeah.
That's
No, we
no, great,
appreciate
great
that.
show. I love your guys' show.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much.
Yeah,
I might do something we don't usually do. I'm actually gonna go live from like my normal timeline instead of from the page.
Okay.
And we're just gonna see what happens. We're just gonna call it the episode number and call it a cap special and see if Facebook, wants to
Go
play
for it.
with us. So we'll see about that, and then I can share it to a couple of groups. We are, I believe, going live right now. It takes a moment, so we'll wait 30 seconds. All right. Well, welcome to episode 334 of Sports on the Hill podcast. We're calling this a trade deadline special, where we got a live game going on. Unfortunately, we were down 2-0 in that. But we had some moves at the trade deadline, not as many moves as some people wanted, more than others wanted. So we'll break down all of our thoughts on that to actually start this. We also had 2 wins this week, important ones. One that Gil actually went to live, which I want to get his thoughts about that one. And we're celebrating Anna Knox's birthday. And she just had one this past weekend, so that exciting. And then Janaea talks Caps is live with us, which is really a cool, unique thing. We get a perspective. We are in Canada in the Caps game live. We are also in Vancouver, and later on my Twitch stream will be in Toronto. So we're all over Canada tonight. So that should be a lot of fun as well. And if after this first hour or so of hockey talk, we'll be bringing Champ, Tim, and Arun in. We'll be talking about all the big moves. It was the first day of free agency in the NFL today, so we'll talk a little bit about that. The Wizards are on a win streak, which is the first time I've said that the entire season.
Don't jinx it.
So they've won 2 in a row. So that's very exciting for them. We'll actually talk about them for once. We haven't in a while. And DC United was the opposite. There was no score in that game. It was 0-0. It was a tie. Kind of fell in the standings because of that tie. We'll break that down as well. We'll also have some wrestling news and then talk about this raid train and talk about this awesome Voice Unmuted. She also goes by Katie. She has a new album coming out at the end of the month, who's produced by one of my all-time favorite Twitch streamers. So we'll be talking about that with her on Twitch afterwards. But let's get into it. First, let's talk about the trade deadline. I'm going to share this to a couple of groups, and then we can get some comments in from some of our friends in different Facebook groups as well. But I'm going to start with you, Janaea. What were your thoughts of the trade deadline moves?
You know, I I liked what they did. I was kind of hoping for I thought that we were going to trade Mantha for sure. I thought that we were going to trade Edmondson for sure. I thought that Max Pacioretty might move as well, which we didn't see, although it came out after the fact that they could not move him because he did not want to waive his no trade clause. So that's not on Brian McClellan. Obviously, Pacioretty wanted to stay put. I was kind of hoping that they would move him as well. I know there was some talk about Nick Dowd and Charlie Lindgren as well. I think it would have made sense to move those guys if the return was going to be very high. But given that we heard like there weren't a lot of first round picks moving around at this trade deadline, to me, I only wanted them to move Nick Dowd or Charlie Lindgren if it was going to be a first round pick coming back. So I was happy to see them stay put, given that that return wasn't going to be out there for them. I think that they're really important players, obviously, on the team. Nick Dowdy's probably the best fourth line center in the entire National Hockey League. Charlie Lindgren obviously is the number 1 goaltender here now. I don't think that's even a conversation at this point anymore, quite frankly. So I was happy to see both of those guys stay put. They both have another year left on their contracts. So I know some people were kind of choked, like they were kind of mad that they didn't move those 2 off. To which I would say, like, there wasn't really a panic or a reason why we had to do it right now because they each have that additional year left on their contracts. So there's no reason why, if you still want to move them next season, you can still do that at next season's trade deadline, right? So they can still get the first round draft picks or what have you back in return for them if they choose to do that next season. For now, though, they're still on the team. And the Caps kind of forced Brian McClellan's hand a little bit, I think, because they started playing a lot better leading right into the trade deadline. So I think he kind of felt as well he didn't want to just sell off everybody because that's a little bit demoralizing. I talked about that on my last podcast episode, just that we have so many young players on this team right now, guys who I think and who we hope will be on this team for a long, long time. So to me, it's just that's something that us as fans, like, we don't always think of that. But like with those young guys, like, you don't want to trade away everybody because you want to have some of that veteran leadership and that veteran presence and somebody to kind of help bring those guys up and teach them what it is to be a National Hockey League player, right? So you don't want to turn into, that's kind of what I talked about in my episode this week, was you don't want to turn into like, you know, the Columbus Blue Jackets or the Buffalo Sabres who aren't making the playoffs for 10, 15 years at a time, right? So I think it's important to keep some of the veterans on the team. So I was happy to see a couple of those guys stay put. But yeah, I mean, the guys like Joel Edmondson, Anthony Mantha, you know, those guys, we were, I think, all pretty sure that they were going to be moved out, which they were. I was extremely happy to see that we got, I believe it was almost the exact same return for Joel Edmondson that the Ottawa Senators got for Vladimir Tarasenko, which I thought was pretty crazy. So that was a nice, tidy piece of business
We
by
actually
Brian
gained
McClellan there.
resources like through having him for a few months. Like we
Yeah.
gave up, and then what we got back was like better. So it's like a fine
Crazy.
win. Like, and it wasn't like he did anything too spectacular for us. I don't really know
Yeah.
how that worked, but I actually thought that was pretty impressive because I didn't think we would get near that return for him at all. And you know, I think that that was kind of a bit of a masterclass for that one for sure.
For sure. Yeah.
I'll get Gil. What are some of your thoughts on the on the moves?
I overall I was pretty pleased. I thought I was really hoping it was kind of a foregone conclusion. Just as Janaea was saying that Mantha was going to be gone. He's never played better in his career. Going to Vegas, that was a pretty good fit for him. Given that that was the scenario, I was really hoping that they would be willing to give up their number one for him because he's a really good fit on their whole scheme. But it wasn't happening. They were hanging on to that number one regardless. But a second and a fifth, I'll take that. It's pretty good, and the return we got for Edmondson pretty good. And surprisingly enough, a Kuznetsov that is, you know, hasn't looked like himself in quite a while. They managed to pull off getting a third round pick for him at the cost of 50% retaining salary. So all in all, a pretty good deadline. They did not do what I was scared to death that they were going to do, which was part with a current future asset, which was the dumb thing to do. Too many teams have done that. I was really glad to see that they didn't do that. So as long as they stick to the plan and let the young talent develop, which right now is what they're doing, and stockpiling draft picks, they're looking pretty good. I will say this. I'll close the sentiment with this. Draft day is going to be very interesting. They have a lot of quality mid-draft picks. That gives them a lot of options. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see what they might be able to pull off that day.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they like combine some of those picks together to maybe move up, or you know, even combine some of those future year ones because we have a lot stacked up over the future years to teams, so you could sort of mix and match. And so it'll be interesting to see how they utilize that for sure. Anna, what are some of your thoughts?
Yeah, everything's been said. I totally agree across the board, and I think Janaea said it like she feels the same way I do. There's got to be a balance between the vets and newer players. You know, in one for skills and in that maturity sense, and you know, just wisdom. Let's just put it that way. And then, of course, you know, getting the young guys out there with fresh legs and speed and everything else to have a good balance is going to make the team that much stronger. Not surprised with Mantha. I mean, honestly, like I thought about it and I was like, okay, let's all like go back to all of our comments at the beginning of the year when or the beginning of the
We didn't get
season.
anything for him. The fact that we were like we tried to ship him so many times,
We
and
could
Yeah.
not give him away for free last year. That's
Right.
the thing,
And then,
right?
great. He redeemed himself, had some great games, but it is what it is. And good luck in Vegas.
yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think that team is stacked out there, and
No
I'm kind of
shit.
happy for
Crazy.
for Kuzi as well.
Yeah.
He gets an opportunity to play with Orlov. It's hard because I tend not to like other teams in the East. For obvious reasons. We've had playoff histories with all of them, but if the Caps don't end up making it, I think it would be a great story if Carolina could do something with him and Orlov. The teams that are there, I don't think I would be as upset. I mean, I hate every other Metro team probably more
Right.
than them, and I think in recent history we've had some beef in the playoffs and stuff like that. But I don't know. I guess I wouldn't care quite as much if we were out of it. If we're obviously in it, then I feel very differently. But
I think like on
um,
a human perspective,
yeah,
it's
exactly. I
like,
want him to do well.
yeah, we didn't want to see him just fade away and have like the controversy and the negative and like a poor playing and whatever to be the way he left the NHL. And I think I appreciated McClellan's message, and I think it was like, hey, listen, we did everything that we could, and you know let's just start fresh somewhere else, and maybe that's just what Kuzi needs,
Well, that's what I think is incredible. McClellan was able to, within a week period, there was not a lot of trade suitors, that were even available. They just put him through waivers as a way to test the waters to see if anyone would pick up the whole contract. Pretty
Yeah,
much all of us agree that was never going to happen. And then we get him back, and then now he's got to decide like it's 6 million to bury him. It's 8 million
yeah,
if you believe that he's something to make of himself next year, even though he's now asked to probably 4 times to be traded at this point.
yeah,
There's some debate on how many times he's asked to be traded, but I think probably closer to 4 is my guess. So, they finally, let him off the hook, right?
yeah,
And they're able to, with that 4 million in that open spot, you can give that 4 million to other players. You can
yep,
go out and invest in one, and so there's an opportunity there, which I think is really important. But it just gives Kuzi a fresh start and with somebody that he knows. So it's not like you're
yeah,
just like outcast and you have no friends, and because I just feel like that would put him in a dark place, which I don't want, right? It sucks that you read so many comments online about people who so quickly like forget that they're people, that they're
yeah,
rooting for them, and as fans we have to take it upon ourselves to like treat them with dignity both when they're on our team but when they leave as well. Like,
yeah,
sure, you never want them to go to the Penguins, right? Like, in an ideal world, they aren't. But Lars Eller still scored, the most important goal according to most Capitals fans, in our history, right? So
right,
I'm not rooting for him on the Penguins, but I'm also not going to wish him ill either. So like you can find a common, decency there. So I
agreed.
think that is important. We are starting the third period now. The Jets are up 2-0. I do want to get into some of the games for this week. I know that Anna's got only about 15 to 20 more minutes with us, so I'm gonna try to speed go through the games.
Don't worry about me. Like, I was like, you have amazing co-hosts at that. It's all good. My job is
Yes,
hitting
yeah,
that
I
freeze
want your input, and plus
break.
we could talk about the end of the game and you can leave as well. So we'll be fine either way. So hopefully it'll get exciting at the end.
Right.
So let's just go back to the Penguins game because we love to shit on the Penguins, and this is an opportunity for us to do that, which is rare. So
Fantastic.
I mean, the Penguins are terrible this year. I will use that as a caveat to start, but the Capitals were able to beat the brakes off them 6-0. Tom Wilson with the shorthanded gets us going at the beginning, which I love because I had the worst feeling when we took a penalty in the first minute of the game in Pittsburgh. I was like, this is going to be a long fucking night. That's not the way you want to start a game, right? Like,
True.
and then for him to score that shorthanded goal, it set the table for the rest of the evening.
It did.
Ovi scored on the power play, 18th of the season, 30 seconds into the second period. They were able to carry that momentum. Nick Jensen scores his first of the season at 3:16. Beck Mallenstein got his 12th assist. back actually got the 11th on the first goal, and Dylan Strome and John Carlson got assists on the second one. Hendrik Lapierre, who's been playing amazing, got his 6th goal of the season. Trevor Van Riemsdyk's 9th assist, and Ovechkin's 29th assist. That's selfish Russian.
Yes, damn
And
him.
Ivan Miroshchenko at 16:21.
Yay.
Miro gets on the board for his very first Washington Capitals goal. Dylan Strome's 27th assist of the season, and Sonny Milano's 6th assist of the season makes it 5-0. And then Sonny Milano gets on the board. He scores his 9th goal at 2:13 in the third. Alexiev gets his first assist of the season, and Dylan Strome adds another to get to 28 on his. I am so happy that Sonny Milano scored on this because he's going streaking going into this and continue through this game, playing amazing. And Miro obviously getting his first goal of his career in the NHL. I'll start off with you, Janaea. What are your thoughts on this game?
Loved it, loved it, loved it. It doesn't really matter where you are in the standings. Beating Pittsburgh always feels amazing, regardless of the circumstances. So it was a heck of a hockey game. That Tom Wilson goal, first of all, that might have been the goal of the entire season. What a goal
zero
by him.
angle. He's so far past the goal. Like, there's no reason that should have worked, but it did.
It's a crazy angle. It's off the pipe, and then he bats it out of midair. It reminded me actually of the one that Ovechkin scored in the playoffs against Pittsburgh, that game winner with I think it was 1:07
It's
left.
actually a play that Sidney Crosby is famous for, is hitting it out of the air, earlier in his career. So it's so funny. I was watching this game. My dad was actually at my house, and we watch it on replay because I have YouTube TV. So we're chatting, and I say, "Oh, a goal scored," and I rewind it, and we watch it on my phone. And he was like, "Oh, he scores it, off the first." I was like, "No, he definitely bats out of the air." He's like, "There's no way." And then we watch it again, and I was like, "See, there it is." And he was like, "Wow, you're right." And just the eye-hand coordination to be able to do that, and then to do it
amazing.
at that angle is just incredible.
How many goals have you ever seen? How many goals have you ever seen Ryan Reeves score like that?
Right.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh fans must be sleeping, right? They think they have an opportunity in the game. They think that this guy has no skill whatsoever, and he does, arguably, as you said, one of the craziest goals of the game. But it just continued from there. What are your thoughts on Miroshchenko? I know we don't get to play him too many more games unless we could burn an entry level year, but it looked good.
Yeah, I believe tonight is his 6th game, right? So
7.
he can play
7.
3 more without us burning a year off of his contract. He is such an exciting player to watch. I love watching him already. I love the kid personally, his just whole story, everything that he's been through. It's amazing. For him to come back as quickly as he did and tear up the leagues over in Russia, first of all, right away, right after going through chemotherapy and all that. It's unbelievable. So for him to do what he's doing right now, I thought as well, before he had scored that goal, his first goal in the NHL, I thought he could have had probably 3 or 4 before that. He's had a lot of chances in the few games that he's played. So it's exciting to see him. It's exciting to see all of the young kids playing so well. Hendrix Lapierre, oh my goodness, he is on fire. Absolutely on fire. I believe he has, what is it now, 6 goals and 7 points in the last 6 games or something since he's been called up. So he's been unbelievable. He looks right now, I recognize that it's a small sample size and all of that, so I don't want to get too overexcited, but he looks right now like he could be a lot better than even the Capitals organization had projected him to be. I think right now he looks like a top 6 center, whereas they, I think, had kind of penciled him in as maybe a 3rd line center, 2nd line center at best. But he's playing really well with Ovechkin. They seem to have a good amount of chemistry already. Obviously, that's something that we need with Nicholas Backstrom not being there, Kuznetsov now not being there. So great to see him stepping up and playing so well. But yeah, all of the young guys, Miroshnichenko's playing great, Lapierre, Protas, Malenstein, those guys have been really good all season long. So it's an exciting time, I think, to be a Capitals fan, because it just feels a lot different than last season. Like last season felt pretty miserable, honestly, when not only missing the playoffs, but just it didn't feel like there was a ton of hope because everybody was talking about like the age of the roster and what are they going to do, and what are these young kids going to be? We don't know. And now that we're seeing that they can be really quite good NHL players, so I think that is bringing a lot of excitement to the fan base as well, and just kind of rejuvenating people. And a lot of the best kids aren't even here yet, so there's a lot to look forward to. Like Ryan Leonard, Andrew Crystal, these guys are going to be coming over hopefully within the next few years. So but yeah, I mean, we're supposed to be talking about the Pittsburgh game, so I'm getting off track here. But
I kind of knew that this was going to happen. I can't say I'm surprised by it. But the because we all love the tangents, and I'm happy that the Capitals are doing better. To be totally honest, it makes it easier to be a fan. I mean, I'm going to be a fan no matter what. But like, if we're going to be talking about them weekly, I'd much rather have exciting things to talk about our future than all the question marks that we had last year for sure. And we had a lot of them. And I think that Caps fans are so quick to be like, we want to rebuild, but you don't want to go through the growing pains. And so a lot of them are like, oh, this person needs to be sold and that person needs to go and this GM needs to be fired and this coach is not working out for us. And it's like, give them a couple of years to like get going through there. There's going to be some tough times, and then you build from that adversity and you build a team out of it. Like, it doesn't happen overnight. I understand that maybe they watch football and teams do change overnight in that sport, but in hockey it takes some time to develop that chemistry and the lines and the coaching, and for the coach to even have a style. And Gil and I at the beginning of the season we weren't even convinced we understood what our coach's style and what he was trying to do, and I'm not sure even he knew what he was trying to do yet. And so it's developing over the course of the season, and it's great to see. And I'm so happy, as Gil said earlier, that we didn't trade the farm for something now. When who cares if we miss the playoffs by a couple of points? Keep on trying, keep on moving forward. Maybe you sneak in, maybe you don't, but have something to build off of. I mean, we have the hardest remaining schedule in the NHL. So I think for us to jump teams, even though it's possible statistically, and as a Caps fan, you want to hold on to hope and you want to believe, and I want to as well, but I also don't want to be heartbroken. So I'm trying to temper expectations and know that it's going to be a really rough. This is a tough road swing. Janaea, you're going to one of the games coming up, right? The Vancouver
the Vancouver game, I will be there.
Nice. I mean, and they've been playing pretty well this season. It's not the normal Vancouver team that we'd seen in at least some previous years.
No kidding.
Yeah, so that'll be an interesting matchup for sure. I do want to get Gil and Anna's thoughts on Pittsburgh before I get too far away from it. But Anna, what are your quick thoughts on Pittsburgh? And then I'll get Gil's thoughts as well.
Yeah, I just beyond the happy dances, it was quite fantastic to see, and I loved it even today as the students were leaving. One of my coworkers, who was a diehard Penguins fan, was out there, and he's like, "Hey, how was your birthday?" I was like, "Oh, it was great." He's like, "Yeah, that was great that they beat Chicago." I was like, "Oh, no, 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 no. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that Pittsburgh game that was before that." And he's like, "Oh,
You don't get to skip over that
yeah."
one.
I was like, "Nice try with the happy birthday, but no, not gonna happen." Excuse me, but I will say, I loved hearing when you talk about the players that scored. Wilson, always my heart, love the guy more than anything. Ovechkin, Jensen, finally. And LaPierre, like, oh my God, I feel the same way. Like, I just think that this kid has got, like, we're just seeing just a little bit of what he's really got. And I think he, was his last year, not so much kind of deer in the headlights. He was, he was young, and then all of a sudden it's just kind of kicked in. He's found his place. He's found chemistry amongst the team, and I love it. And I think, Gil, I have to say, your favorite player has got to be Milano these days, and how can you not adore him? He's so kick-ass, and I every time he comes on, I laugh with your post, Gil, with the num 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 Cookie Monster thing. But
cookies, yeah. That,
No,
yeah.
I mean, to be fair, you egged him on.
that's true. I totally asked for that. But anyways,
You asked for it.
yes, I will say guilty as charged. But I'm liking the new energy, and I think we saw a lot of it during that Pittsburgh game. So it was good to see.
And meanwhile, Pittsburgh looks old and slow and demoralized, and it is fantastic.
I love
And a
it.
lack of a future. Like they don't have the same level of prospects or current talent there that they've traded away a ton of picks to try
It's
to go
it's
into win now mode.
it is the strangest thing. At the same time, they're doing the opposite of what the Caps are doing, and yet they're signing. Well, they signed Lars Eller to a contract, and they picked up Matt Phillips for all of 3 weeks.
Yeah.
What are they trying to do? It just seems like they're out of control. There's no plan, and it's no wonder Crosby's frustrated as all hell. It makes you wonder what are they thinking?
Yeah.
Well, I said to a friend the other day, it's if you were going to trade away Jake Gensel, why did you sign Erik Karlsson? Or trade, sorry, pardon me, trade for Erik Karlsson. Why did you trade for 4 more years of Erik Karlsson if you were going to then turn around a few months later and trade away Jake Gensel? Like, are you competing? Are you not competing?
Yeah.
Pick a lane.
Yeah, it's such a strange thing. The Capitals are on the power play. Right now they're on the right dot, and there's a face-off that they, of course, lose. But 34 seconds left in this power play. Right now, we are being outshot 24-21, but just not a lot of high danger zone, chances. I have to give the Jets a lot of credit. They play really good defense this year. It's the reason why they are, playing a lot better. And so it'll be interesting to see. And they're a pretty high flying team. Also, if people don't remember, we seem to always beat the Jets in Washington, which probably makes them very angry. So this is their opportunity for revenge as well. Unfortunately, this power play is going to go by the wayside, and
Well, they had come to Vancouver for their last game and just got absolutely annihilated. So they got chewed out by their coach after their last game. So I think they were ready for this one. It's 5-0 for the Canucks over the Jets.
oof, oof,
Ouch.
Yeah.
That's what sucks about the NHL is it really is like who did your opponent play the night before or the game
Yeah.
before? Like it
Yeah.
has a
What's the
huge
mindset gonna be?
effect on your
Yeah.
game. Like it's one of the weird. It's like a chess in the standings. I always like look at the next five, and then I look at who their next five is, and you try to like guess. It's a pretty crazy thing. Let's talk real quickly about this Chicago game, as I want to get Gil's thoughts on it. Hendrix Lapierre scores his 7th goal of the season, 7 minutes in. We got Scarbosa get his 3rd goal of the season, 8:45. And then Tom Wilson on the power plays, 15th of the season. Strom's up to 29 assists. Ovi's up to 30 assists. Carlson up to 33. Van Riemsdyk up to 10. Protas up to 22. And then in the second period, Milano with his 10th, 5 games in a row. There's only been a handful of Capitals who've been able to score 5 goals in a row in the last 20 years, and even less of them if they're not Ovechkin. So Protas gets his 23rd, and we go up 4-0 in the third period. Unfortunately they get one back, but we end up winning 4-1. Gil, I know you went to the game and had some beverages, and
One very large one at the end.
right, one very. Oh, is it just one at the end? Okay, well,
Yeah.
you said you were feeling it on the metro ride home, but as you should, and celebrate as you should. A nice win. We finally beat a team that we should. It's at the bottom of the standings, unlike the previous weekend. And what was it like going to that game?
It was great. A lot of Chicago fans showed up, who were mostly quiet. But yeah, we had pretty good seats, thanks to a friend of mine, Brian Drover. Um, and yeah, it was unfortunately it was the defending twice. Caps defend twice but still pretty good. Got a great view of the attacks and the zone entries. The Caps were on point all 60 minutes. You could say Chicago looked bad, but I think the Caps looked pretty great in this game at both ends of the ice. They had all spots covered. Um, I think Chicago may have had all of 6 or 7 high danger chances, and whenever they did, Charlie was up to the task. And the one goal they did get was really, really, really fluky. So there was no way. And like we said on the podcast, yeah, Chicago's a last place team, and okay, yeah, it's no big accomplishment beating a last place team, but curb stomping them, yeah, that's what's expected. That's what they did. So yeah, I mean, Carlson looked great. He was all over the ice. I thought he covered a lot of ground. I don't think really anybody had this one of those games where no cap had a really bad game. And Jets just got one again. Sneaky
Yeah,
one past
3-0.
Lindgren's pad.
Yeah.
So it's 3-0 with 10 minutes to go in the third.
I thought
Uh,
he shifted over so well. I actually thought he was gonna.
I thought
It looked
he
like he
had it.
got it initially.
Yeah, I was actually kind of excited. I was like, oh, he saved that, and then I saw on the replay he did not. But anyway, it was a good attempt though. I mean, it's a tough goal coming back against him like that.
He's so good. He's so good. As a goalie talking, he's so good.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess we
He's
haven't
just
talked
he's
about
so
that.
much fun to watch.
Is
He
a,
reminds you of like a he's almost like one of those old school goaltenders. Like he makes saves like it's the 80s.
yeah, and I love how he moves around and he just has such confidence in it. See right there, he's right on that post. Good movement. Got sound squared up well. And he's able to shift pretty well as. So anyway, but I forgot to mention that Janaea does play goalie, so she plays hockey too, which is really cool.
Oh, awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, and so that's a unique perspective. I always liked her thoughts on all the different goalies we've had over the years. It's crazy to think that Janaea, we started that Caps group, the Sin Bin 12 years ago, which
I know.
that
That'll
just
make you feel
blows my
old, hey?
yeah, that blows my mind that we've been friends that long and we've talked Caps for that long. And this is the first time in 8 years of doing my show that I've had you like on a live show. But we did do a couple of specials, intermission things during some games, I think in the past. But I don't think we've ever done like one of these. But it's just it's been cool to be able to talk hockey with you for so long about the team, the ups and the downs and the heartbreaks and how many game sevens we went through before obviously the raising the cup and finally getting that positive 1 year that we were hoping for. So I still hold out hope that we can somehow get one more for Ovechkin before he is done. I just I wonder if these new guys are going to come in just enough time in his last season. But my dream scenario is he like agrees to stay on for one more year after his current contract because he's like 15 away, right? And in that year he like goes on a run, breaks the record, and they use that as momentum to then go and win a cup, and then he retires with the cup, right? That is like the dream
That
scenario.
would be a
Um,
dream.
and so that's why
Amazing.
I will at least hold on doing this podcast for 3 more years to see if it happens. But that's at least what I'm hoping for. I don't know if we have one more lucky set of cards in our deck, so to speak, but it would be a lot of fun. But Janae, what are some of your thoughts on this Chicago game?
Well, I think Gil mostly said pretty much everything that I thought, which was that, you can say that like beating a team that's at the bottom of the standings, it's not that big of an accomplishment, but it kind of is in the sense that like last season, we wouldn't have seen them come out and just curb stomp the Chicago Blackhawks like
Right.
that, right? So it's nice in that sense because they have, I guess you could say, a little bit more of a killer instinct than they had last season under Peter Laviolette. That's what stood out for me was like it was a game that they were supposed to win. It was a game that they had to win, and they didn't come out, and it wasn't like a 1-0 game all the way. I feel like last season, like under Peter Laviolette, that type of game, we'd maybe score first. It would be 1-0 all the way until the third period because we never extended the lead. And then they would get a goal somehow to tie and we'd lose in overtime, right? That's kind of how last season went. So it was refreshing to see that they came out and just jumped all over them, jumped out to an early lead, never gave it up, and that they kept scoring and scoring and scoring to actually extend it so that we're not like one bounce away from having the game be tied up and losing in overtime.
Yeah, like they just took the ball and run with it. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
What I'm loving so much is the amount of scoring we're able to put up without it being all Ovechkin, right? Because that
Mhm.
was the issue last year when the Ovechkin well dried up, then we had nothing, right? So
Yeah.
that's not going to work in the later stages of his career. Like maybe you'll get a goal every other game, but you can't expect it to be every game anymore. Like
Right.
so you've got to have other people coming out and scoring in droves, and it's nice to see the young guys doing it and playing the young guys and believing in them, and you can see the confidence that they have, especially with each other. And what I love is the confidence Ovechkin seems to instill in the youth, right? He
Mhm.
he knows they all look up to him, right? He's a
Yeah.
living legend, right? And he takes that, and I really like to see what he's doing as a captain in these later years, where people talk about Crosby and his leadership, but I don't foresee it in the same situation happening over in Pittsburgh, right? So it's just so funny that the narrative of these two players, and unfortunately, I think it's because of where they're from, it plays into part of the hockey narrative. And it's been disappointing because I think Ovi's done all the right things. You can see him instill tons of confidence in our youth, and that's huge. So I want to thank you for following. Is it Sprughans? I think that they're German. A lot of people are lurking. I really appreciate them. I think they're waiting for some of my later segments with Katie. So I appreciate all the people that are watching on Twitch, and whether you're a hockey fan or not. So welcome on in to all of you. And right now we're still losing 3-0. 7 minutes left in the third, but yeah, I am happy that we were able to pull away a little bit and have that sort of room. And any final thoughts on your birthday game? Because I know that it is very exciting that they were able
No, yeah, honestly, a win is a win, and I will take it. And you guys did everything perfectly. Team came out, they played their 60 minutes, and I have nothing but pure admiration for a captain that is as excited when he scores as he is for any other player on the team. And I think that is admirable and respected. It's just awesome. So that was great. And I was glad Gil was there. And yeah, that was just it was a fun game to watch. The last two were. This one and not so much, but you know what? It's okay. It is what it is.
right. Don't you have ties to the Winnipeg Jets
I
in your
do.
family?
I do. That
Yeah.
was my mom. So my mom grew up in Winnipeg, and that's how my brother and I grew up, introduced to hockey because of her love of the Jets, and my grandfather was the same way. So yeah, it was a big thing. So right now I'm kind of laughing because I'm like, oh, she's probably like hee like enjoying this for right now, but yeah, this is nice little uh belated birthday gift, we will say.
Right, for her. Right. Hopefully, Janae, your mom doesn't spite with you, because I know she's also a Vancouver, or was a Vancouver fan, and so hopefully you bring the luck in person. So
Yeah.
I'm rooting for you on that one.
Yeah, every time that my mom and I would go to a Capitals Canucks game, she, as a Canucks fan, never had a good time. It was
Yeah.
they always seem to win in Vancouver, so I'm hoping that that'll be
Oh
the case on Saturday.
no. Sorry, a friend of mine just joined chat. I've been waiting for the moment for him to join this chat because he's a diehard. Well, he lives in Winnipeg. He's actually a Bruins fan, but don't let him try to
Oh my
yeah,
God.
stand out of
Three
there. But
strikes.
but he is a Jets fan too, and has Jets clothing. I've seen him wear it. And so he's like, okay, everyone, let's hear it. Go Jets, go. And he says, how come no one's cheering with me? And yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Well,
yeah,
Womp womp.
I'm surprised it took this long, 55 minutes in for him
All right.
to gloat. So I will take it as a victory there. But anyway, so we have fans from all the different Canada provinces, and it's crazy that on this show tonight I have three women that have relationships to Canadian hockey teams up north, right? And so it's just kind of blows my mind, but that happens. But hopefully we really find a way here in the last 7 minutes to score these 3 goals. But it's at least score a goal. Let's not get
That's how I feel. Just
start
score
with that.
something.
Specifically, an OV goal would fix everything, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Ovi scores 2 goals. I'm fine losing 3-2. So we can put
Yes.
so
Drown our sorrows in half price pizza the next day.
exactly. Exactly. Stuart says I was trying to stop myself. I'm sure you were, Stuart. So we call Stuart the mod father on Twitch because he is actually the mod of his daughter. I will actually do a Stuart command to prove that he is a friend of the show, even if he's rooting for the other team. But yeah, anyway, so this game is not going great. I don't know how a lot to talk about this game specifically, but I do want to talk about the upcoming schedule a little bit with you guys. And I know that Anna, you have to go.
It's fine. Yeah. We'll I don't want to, we're gonna vibe and do what we can
Okay, all right.
and
Well, I promise I won't keep you for more than 10 more minutes. So
sure.
we got Edmonton coming up on March 13th on my wife's birthday.
Yep.
That's gonna be a tough one. We got the next day playing in Seattle, which is rough back to back, on the 14th. And then on the 16th and Saturday, that's the one Janae is going to at Vancouver. All three of those games are 10 o'clock. Yeah, nice and early for our East Coast,
God,
team. And
brutal.
so yeah, I don't know how much of the live games I'll be able to watch of those, although I am kind of a night owl, but they always suck me in too. They always are like close into the third and they get blown out, and I just get mad that I stayed up. That is an average, Caps 10 o'clock start for me. And then next Monday, March 18th, we have a huge special that we're doing. It's our 8-year anniversary special. The Calgary game is at 8:30. So instead of talking about the third period, we're going to talk about the beginning of that game. Yeah, it's going to be a wild one. We'll have lots of guests. I'm trying to get Carol to come back for that one as well. We'll see if can do that. But yeah, it'll be a big show. It'll be our last show of season 8. And we'll celebrate 8 years of streaming. Then we'll take a week off, and then we'll come back and start season 9 on April 1st. Right back to it with spring break, which I know Anna also has, and Gil, I think you also have a spring break for last
Yes.
week, so that works out well for all of us. But yeah, it's going to be a rough sled there. Edmonton, Seattle, Vancouver, Calgary. Janaea, what are your thoughts on that upcoming swing?
It's a brutal stretch. Yeah, I believe the Caps have the toughest remaining strength of schedule. I mean, that's been true for the last, I believe that's been true since we flipped the calendar to 2024, actually. So they've done pretty well so far, but certainly there's not really an easy game in this next upcoming. I guess you could say like Seattle would probably be the easiest of those three, but I mean, you're on the second half of a back-to-back for that one. Probably got Darcy Kemper in net, so I don't know. Win the game in Vancouver for me, please. That's all I want. Yeah. Which I do haven't they've only ever lost one game that I've ever gone to out of literally 20 games. So I'm hoping that continues. Even last year when we were awful, they still won in Vancouver. So hopefully they stay true to that. Ovi usually scores when we go as well. So, and I believe because Oshie played tonight, so as long as knock on wood he doesn't get injured again, I believe the game in Vancouver would be his 1000th game, which would be awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Because he's one of my favorite players for sure. So that would be cool. But yeah, I'm hoping they can win the one in Vancouver. If we can, I would say if we could win, obviously we're gonna lose this one, 2 out of 4 games this week.
Yeah,
being
that's
wins,
what I
I
was
would take
thinking.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would take that.
We're
at
saying
this
2
point.
out of 4 before the Calgary one, right? So we're going to take that one
Mhm.
out, including this one. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm hoping for too. I actually think our best bet is Edmonton and Vancouver because that Seattle second half is brutal, and maybe this game will be a wake up call. So I'm hoping, but
Yeah.
who knows? It's just it's hard because we need every point you can get. Like in an ideal thing, like let's just get to as many overtimes as possible. Like, get as many, even if you're gonna lose, like somehow salvage a point. I don't know. Like
It's
Yeah.
working for the Islanders. That's that's what they
exactly.
do.
Get a page out of their
Yeah.
book. I feel like that's like a page out of their always book. Like I feel like that's for years, watching the Islanders constantly go to overtime, get loser points, or take us to overtime. It just seems to be like a thing that they do.
I checked that today. It's like if they had even just the same amount of loser points as us, I believe we'd be, let's see, what was it? Yeah, we would be ahead of them by 2 points and have played one less game. So they've got 14 loser points already.
Nice. Well, your girlfriend just said that at least the Devils aren't getting a point. So thank you for joining us on Facebook. So I don't think she's ever come. So that's
Looking on the bright side, yeah.
yeah, exactly. So um oh no, Stuart, why would you even write that? Oh god damn it.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, so he wrote, hate to say, but shouldn't the Caps be looking to move Ovechkin? That's
Oh God, stop it.
stop that. That's just a very
These are
trolling comment.
no, these are
Not gonna dignify that with a response.
no,
I know. And he's a friend. He
exactly.
knew he's trolling too.
Yeah.
Um,
No.
Pacioretty gets in a skirmish with Pionk, and refs favor Pionk. Can't even win a crappy ref battle tonight. That's
Yeah.
true. I know the serious hockey minds would probably say you trade him while he still has value, but that's ridiculous. We have to end his career as a Capital. Like
Yep.
there's just in no scenario does he move. I just don't he's one of the last. Him and Crosby
Yeah.
are probably some of the last that don't get moved at all. Maybe McDavid, but I'm not even sure that that's going to be true.
And McDavid, I think, could be out of there in a couple years when
Yeah.
he's a free agent, but if they don't have success. But I mean,
Mhm.
it's not even just a regular. It's so crazy when people say that he would never. You're right. They would never, ever, ever part ways with Ovechkin, and it's not even just he's not even just a regular franchise player. There's that added layer of like he's going for Gretzky's records, so it would
Yeah.
just never happen ever.
And then he says, so then they should trade away a bunch of their players for draft picks. Like they did that. We talked about
God.
it. So like,
We
and when
have,
they played,
we
like,
have, I believe we have the third most draft picks of any team in the league over the next 3 seasons now.
yeah, I think it's either third or fourth. So yeah, it's like right up there. So like we can definitely move those. Go back and listen to the audios too. The VOD will stay up as well. So the you said you didn't say the trades by the Caps. Yeah, we traded. We got Kuzi, that we were able to deal with basically to shed half of the salary cap. We got a third back for him. We got a couple picks for Mantha, and yeah,
Edmonton.
and
Couple
Edmondson.
picks for Edmondson. Yeah.
Yeah, so not bad. We didn't move any of our high capital guys, and a lot of the players which were like on the question marks we had for another year. So you could, in theory, flip in the offseason if you want to, because you can now hold on to that when there's maybe more movement and people are willing to move pieces because they don't. Everyone thinks they're a contender right now, so no one wants to give away too much, right?
Right.
So like in the offseason, people might feel differently, and you can use that trade capital then. So. All right, Anna, your thoughts on the week ahead?
Yeah, I'm going 50-50.
Yeah, okay, that's a very idealistic and
Yeah, I wish I could feel more optimistic, but I think when you're looking at yeah, I'm gonna go 50-50.
yeah. Well, Stuart, we have like a lot of people that are coming up in the next 3 years. We already like now they'll get rid of
Damn
that.
it, Stuart.
You'll have a team in 4 years. Yeah, probably. We think 2 to 3, maybe. I think
Yeah.
we need to make the playoffs next year, and then in 2 years, when some more of these players come up, I think they can have a real shot at it. Right towards the tail end of the OV, like he'll have a really big gray beard by that point, and it'll just be this grizzled veteran. I can see it now. McNugget minute here in the last minutes, the
Oof.
last bastion of hope. For anyone who likes McDonald's, I guess. 43 seconds left. We are back to full strength. So that's a benefit. and we'll see if anything happens here in the last 34 seconds of note. We just stole the puck. We're just cycling in our own zone for some reason. 25 seconds left. We're finally at mid ice. We take the zone, drop pass, shoot, and snared out of the air. 18.7 seconds left. Winnipeg has 29 shots on goal. We have 22, but we still got that goose.
Hellebuck.
So yeah, he's a good
Yeah,
goal.
if
Yeah, he
Hellebuck
is.
sees it, he's going to grab it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was.
He's
I
no
mean,
joke.
to be fair, it was not a bad shot because the guy was drifting, so you thought maybe he could drift into his sight lane, but it was a pretty
Right.
catch. So
Here we go. Ovechkin off the face-off. It's coming right here.
the guy just
Imagine.
hang on to the line. Unfortunately, we lose the draw. They send it all the way down. Here we got 7 seconds left. We're just gonna hold it here, which is fine.
Yeah.
Nothing more to be played in this game. We lose the game 3-0. Congratulations, Modfather, on the win. Anyway, it'd be interesting. Oh, I didn't get Gil's thoughts on the week ahead, real quick.
Yeah, I don't really have much different to say, although I can actually see maybe stealing 2 points against Edmonton. They had that long win streak, but they still look vulnerable at times. So that you want to be optimistic that can be a 2 points they can steal, and they can turn it around and throw up a stinker against Seattle 24 hours later. It could play out that way. But lots of points that can be had here. I'd be happy with a 500 effort through those first 4 games. That Calgary game is going to be very interesting. That's going to be the tail end of a really long road trip. Sometimes you get really sapped, and the energy just kind of leaves you. So it's going to be really interesting on how they play that game. That should be the focus game for them. They want to finish that trip strong, no matter what happens those few games before. So yeah, I'd be happy with a split the first 4, maybe sneak a loser point in one of those. But that Monday game against Calgary, that's going to say a lot. If they can keep up with the Flames and throw up a pretty good effort, I think that's what we can hope for there.
Maybe they'll win on the anniversary special, even though they have no idea that would be happening. But, so I can at least hope for that. So, but yeah, so Janaea, I want you to be able to give a quick shout out to your show. I have a command here as well on Twitch that has your website. You can find you on. Do you still go on your Twitter X account and do stuff there?
Yeah, like mostly just chirping, honestly, but yes,
Yeah.
I do use it.
And I also have her Instagram there. So from those, or you can search Shania Talks Caps on all podcast platforms, and you can find it there on YouTube and other stuff like that. But you should be able to find it from her website in addition to that. But let people know what you've been talking about lately on your show and any future plans you want to let people know about.
Yes. So yeah, I do the podcast. It's just called Janaea Talks Caps, the podcast. So you can find it on any and all major podcast platforms. And I had been doing the YouTube videos as well under the same name, Janaea Talks Caps, the post-game videos. I haven't been able to be very consistent with it because I've had a lot of stuff going on in my personal life, but I hope to be soon getting back to doing it more consistently. I was having a lot of fun doing those, just kind of like funny reaction videos right after the game. So those are pretty fun to do. And then
A
yeah,
lot
the
of
podcast.
Steve Dangle's podcast, so I
Oh
love,
yeah.
they're kind of the Capitals equivalent, because I know that I have some people that are from up north and might know his podcast, and so yeah, I don't think you get quite as angry as Steve does, but but lively and animated. So
Lots of enthusiasm. If you haven't,
exactly.
Look, guys, if you haven't caught those yet, you're missing out. Trust me.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Very, very fun to watch.
It came about because I have a habit of just like I'll be watching the game and I'm just like, I'm just chirping or ranting or whatever, and like my girlfriend's like, just record this and put it online, like seriously. So that's how those came about. But yeah, so I'm gonna get back to doing those again as my personal life kind of starts finding its way here. So yeah, the YouTube videos, the podcast. I do have a Facebook page as well where I post all of that stuff up. So that's probably the easiest way to find it all as well. The Facebook page is just under the same name, Janae Talks Caps. And yeah, that's basically where to find me. The most recent podcast I did was just pretty much about what we just talked about the trade deadline and all of that, and just kind of the approach that the Capitals took to that. Upcoming, hopefully we'll still be in a playoff push here, so that would produce a lot of good content, hopefully.
This week will tell
Fingers
a lot,
crossed.
right?
I
We
hope
need
they can stay in it. It's way more exciting when they're in it, so I'm hoping for that.
Me too. I think for all of our podcasts, I think it's
Yeah.
a lot better when
Yeah.
we're winning. People will tune in. I'll tell you that not many people turn into the Wizards content right now. So, so like maybe a little more this week, with the 2 wins. We'll see. I'll do a segment. We'll see if that moves the needle. But it's rough when you're at the bottom there. So, but I appreciate you joining us, and I hope that you will come back on and we'll be able to maybe if we have a playoff run, or even if not, I'd love to have you back on. So
Yeah, this was super fun. I really enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for having me.
yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome to meet you.
Yeah, that goes double for me. Hand extended. You are more than welcome on the Power Play Point podcast anytime you want. We would very much love to have you. In fact, please do come on our show sometime. Please, we'd love somebody actually up in Canada who has their finger on the pulse of the game to come on and talk with us. So yeah, we'd absolutely love it.
Thank you so much, Gil. Yeah, I really appreciate that. I would love to come on sometime for sure. We'll
Definitely.
love to stay in touch.
Yeah, if you're a wrestling fan, you can come on those spots. That's what I'm saying. Okay.
Champ.
I don't know wrestling, but I can try to pretend. Sure.
Yeah. Exactly.
Nice.
Well, Janae, I'm gonna let you go, but I appreciate the time. I'm sorry we couldn't get a win today, but we can only control so much. And I couldn't find my white jersey, so I'll take some of the blame. But I appreciate your time, and we'll definitely have you on in a future episode.
Sounds good. Thank you guys so much. It was really nice to meet you guys as well.
Yeah, you too. Take care.
Great.
You guys have a good night and happy birthday to you.
Oh, thanks.
No problem. Have a good night.
All right, and I know that Champ wanted to come in and wish you a happy birthday before we let you go. So I'm gonna let Champ come on right now. We'll do a little crossover.
There he is.
For that. I'm sorry that we're keeping you.
It's fine.
Now 30 minutes beyond what I said, but
It's all good.
it's a fun celebration.
It's all worth it.
Part of it. So.
Well, I did want to say, Anna, happy birthday. Well, happy belated birthday to you. It's been a joy to be able to speak to you, even though in limited quantities over the years. But hope you had a very great birthday, and hope you have many, 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 many more in the future.
I appreciate that. I really, truly do. You guys have been amazing, and it's crazy that we're all virtual, and then. But I consider you guys like family. My gosh, it's like that's what's so great about these podcasts. So, hopefully one of these days we will all be in person.
Yeah.
At some point, somewhere. I don't know when.
You got to go to a hockey game, Champ. You haven't been to one, right?
I know. Yeah, I know. That's a goal of mine. I want to go to a Caps game.
But next season,
yes,
all the 4 of us need to go to a hockey game together.
Yes,
with other people too.
I love it.
We'll put that in motion. Especially before any chance of moving it to a different state. So, but we'll see. There's still talk of that, but it seems to be expiring. So that's why we haven't been
so too
in the hockey conversation.
Sorry.
But Anna, I'll let you go now, but I just wanted to at least let us wish you a happy birthday. And
thank you so much.
A part of the show, and I'm not sure your schedule for next week, but hopefully we'll have you back on next week as well. But if not, we'll see you on the other side of the break.
Yeah, I'll let you know as soon as I know what's going on. And this has been great. And Gil, I will talk to you for sure on Sunday.
Yeah.
What day is that?
We probably won't be able to see most of the games since they're so damn late. But we'll definitely be on for another episode next Sunday.
Oh, and St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, it is. That's going to be fun.
Wait. Well, okay.
Gonna be close. No, maybe day after.
I'm like setting myself up again because I can hear like some accents coming through that.
Well, maybe not. I might have some more beer.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's cool. I can do that. I can do that, Gil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although that could also lead to accents,
Yeah.
but that's okay. 'cause
Yeah,
then
maybe.
Now
if
this
I'm
is why I
having-
wish that you guys filmed the filming of your show, because I feel
You
like
don't
I'm
want to
between-
see. You don't want to see.
It's so
That picture
funny.
was bad enough. You don't want.
It's awesome. All right, go do the rest of the. Well, you said you're not going to talk about wizards.
No, I think we are. I think we're going to talk. It's going to be
Two
a rare
games.
occurrence, but we're
I just
going
want to say
talk
one
about
last thing. One last thing, Anna,
Yes.
before you leave. I didn't have a crown for you, but you are definitely the queen. Happy birthday!
Oh,
And look for something in the mail. I won't say what, but
oh
you'll
my
like it.
goodness.
Ooh.
Is it Tom Wilson?
Is it
kidding.
Tom Wilson?
I couldn't pull that off. Sorry.
Damn. God, Gil. Just kidding.
Got to poke the holes in the box, right? You know.
Totally. Is it inflatable? No. All right, we're all
All
good.
right, all right.
No, after dark.
Family
This
show.
went way off the rails.
Just kidding. All right.
The way I love to end a segment. So but
Yeah.
this is Anna throwing it off the rails, not Gil, which is
Yeah, that's true.
right?
That's true. That's why we do these shows.
Right.
Anyways, thank you so much for the birthday wishes. I look forward. Oh my God, 8-year anniversary. That is insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, have a great rest of the episode and week. The
Yeah.
weather is going to be fantastic.
No, my whole family is in town, so we're gonna do some fun activities.
I'm so excited. That's like my belated birthday gift because like the other day with the weather, with the rain, and then the winds were like,
I love it.
But-
You bring in
Cherry
spring.
blossoms in a few weeks.
Yeah, I
yes.
know. It's nuts. My street is lined with cherry blossoms, so I'm excited that they are coming. It was weird because I have, my mother-in-law here and her best friend Darla, and in the same day, I got to show her some cherry blossoms, like the early ones on my street, and snow flurries within an hour of each other.
Oh.
That's Maryland weather for you in a nutshell, which from someone
Yeah.
from Texas is pretty foreign.
I'm sure
you know,
she was like, oh my God. Yeah, this is crazy.
yeah.
All
So,
right. All good. Well, I will talk to you guys in a week.
yeah, sounds
Yeah.
good.
All right. Take
night.
care. Bye.
All right.
All right, Gail, thank you so much. And everyone tune into the Power Play Point podcast if they want to check out more about the trade deadline moves. I know you've got some guests, including C4 and Marcus. So I'm sure, and you also, I assume, recap going to the game in that one a little bit.
Yes, definitely. And due to that, Mrs. Blue Liner makes an appearance
Oh, nice.
to give her more than 10 cents worth on that. So yeah, chock
Nice.
full of good stuff.
Nice. Well, definitely go check that out. I'll do the guild command here, and go check out the Power Play Point podcast. I appreciate for being a partner through all of these seasons, and
Pleasure.
it's a lot of fun. And I'm so happy we finally got Janaea on as well. What a fun, Women's Month episode, if you will. So that was kind of a cool thing.
She's
to be able
kick
to,
ass. She is.
two of my favorite female podcasters, and so I appreciate that. And C4 for all season long, she's been amazing, and when Anna can't be
She
here,
is
so
too. Yep.
shout out to her as well. So if you want to get more C4's thoughts on the week, you can definitely do that on this week's episode of Power Play Point podcast. So thank you, Gil, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right. Pleasure. See you then.
All right, so with that, I'm going to change gear to